Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I hope that the broadcast is looking okay. Looks like the internet is a little bit slow here, so I hope it's not choppy and you guys can't hear it. But anyway, I am excited. I'm Pastor Nick. Today is Marketplace Monday. And man, I'm excited about a topic we have to discuss today, one that I've never really thought about, but it was brought to my attention, uh, and I want to talk about it today. And that is staying relevant in a younger workplace. Now, here's the thing I want you to understand before we get into this. That doesn't mean you have to be old for this to pertain to you. It just means maybe you've been in your field a long time. So you don't even have to be um, in your 60s or 70s or 80s to think, well, man, that's who this pertains to me. You could be in your 40s, but been in your industry for 10 years. And in your industry, you're old. Not that you're old in age, but in your industry, you're old, right? So, because the point could be is they have a lot of young people coming in with new ideas and new ways of doing things. And I want to try this and I want to do this. And man, y'all have done it that way for 20 years. Do this. I remember being in telecom, and I remember 15 years into it, I was only 40 years old, but I was an old guy in telecom. I had been around for a long time, and there were always new young people coming in. So today, what I want to do is I want to walk, and talk to the seasoned professionals, not necessarily, again, that you're age wise old, but you're a seasoned professional in what you've been doing. Those of you who've been in the game for your whole life, have been in the same game for a long time, but you find yourself now surrounded by a lot of younger people. You find that the culture is changing, the culture's evolving, the culture's moving at a much faster pace, maybe than it used to be. Your company's talking about all this AI stuff to change things and rearrange things, right? You're not obsolete. That's what I want you to know. In fact, today, what I really want to talk about more than anything is how you are more valuable today than you ever were. But you got to position yourself the right way. You gotta realize that staying relevant has to be intentional. Let me say that again. Staying relevant has to be intentional. And what I want to do is I want to talk about some steps today, and some strategies that can help us remain impactful at the job. Also allow us to be adaptable, but more than anything, allow us when these young people come in to be relational. Just because they're different, don't be intimidated by them. Don't be concerned, be relational with them, listen, learn, do all of that without losing, right, who you are and the value that you bring. So let's run through this real quick, give you some great pointers for today, or at least I hope they're great. But this is what I came up with. Number one, we got to learn to lead with humility, not history. Think about that. Learn to lead with humility. Don't, experience is valuable, but how you carry it determines whether it opens or closes doors. Let me say that again. Experience is valuable, but if you're always with the whole, well, I've been doing this for 30 years, who are you to tell me? Well, we've been doing it this way forever. Why would we change? Philippians 2 and 3 says, in humility, in humility, values others above yourselves. In humility, it values others above yourselves, right? So again, don't always lead with how long you've been here, how long you've been doing it, how we've always done it. Lead with how well you listen. Lead with how well you listen. Wisdom demands attention. Watch this. Wisdom that demands attention loses it. Wisdom that serves earns it. Wisdom that demands attention will lose it, but wisdom that serves will earn it. So we got to remember, it's not just about us always telling everybody how long we've been doing it and how we've always done it. Let's learn to listen. Let's learn to engage people with different viewpoints, different opinions. Number two, stay curious, not critical. Stay curious, not critical. What do you mean? Younger generations bring fresh ideas. Younger generations bring new approaches. And again, this isn't an age thing. It could be an industry you've been in for 20 years. My wife's family's been in the barbecue business for 100 years. Imagine how difficult it would be for a younger person to come in and go, you know what? The way you guys run this front counter and people are lined up out the door, it's antiquated. Have we ever thought about this? No, that's not the way we do it, right? Learn to ask why, not just point out what they're thinking that doesn't line up with what you've been doing. Proverbs 1 and 5 says, let the wise listen and add to their learning. Let the wise listen and add to their learning. So, what we say is curiosity sometimes when you're listening can create connection. Criticism builds walls. Let's not be that person. Criticism builds walls. You don't have to agree with everything they do. You don't have to agree with everything they say, but you should at least try to listen and you should at least try to understand and hear where they are coming from. Okay. Number three, adapt communication style with compromise. This is a thing I've been working with my wife on and us in ministry. Even in ministry, I know we've heard from God. I know God, but you got to learn to listen to the people God's put around you. And we really try to make a point. Now, let me tell you something about me as a pastor. I'm not listening to everybody. This is God. This ain't a business. This is people's lives. These are people's souls. These are people's eternity. So I don't just take and listen to everybody. But I have a leadership team who has proven themselves faithful. So, a lot of y'all don't know, but we have calls every week. I go over our message, the sermon. How did it resonate? How was it? What could we change? I listen to what these leaders say, right? So we need to learn to listen, and we don't have to compromise ourselves to do that, right? We have to learn how our team, the people we work with, the people we serve with, how do they communicate, right? What may are in meetings best? Is video best? Or sure, I remember when we as the church started going to video meetings. We have video meetings now. Every Tuesday, my leadership team has video meetings. We get on video. Why? It was more convenient. It was able to allow us to come together and connect more, right? So it was a new age idea. 1 Corinthians 9:22 says, I have become all things to all people. Write this down. We need to be adjustable. We need to be adaptable. And we need to be teachable. We need to be adjustable, adaptable, and teachable. Don't fight change. Don't fight new ideas. Adapting how you speak, how you think, it doesn't change what you stand for. Relevance is often found in the method, not the message. Write that down. Relevance is often found in the method, not just the message. We have to understand that. If this is helping you, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if this is making sense. Number 4, write this in the chat. Mentor quietly and consistently. When you get these younger people in, influence isn't forced, it's felt. Let them know you care. Younger coworkers may not ask for help, but they're watching you. Sometimes you're mentoring just in your actions. Sometimes you're mentoring just in the way you do things. Sometimes you're setting standards in the way that you're on time to work, in the way that you're on time back from your breaks, in the way that you're not screwing off at work and it's not a game, right? Titus 2 and 7, put that in the chat. Titus 2 and 7. In everything, set them an example by doing what is good. Consistency builds trust, and trust leads to mentorship. They're not gonna listen to you till they trust you. They're not gonna follow you till they trust you. Your quiet example may teach more than your loudest instruction. Think about that. Your quiet example may teach more than your quietest instruction. I wanted to tell everybody today too, because my wife says I go through these too fast. She says sometimes she doesn't have time to write them down. On our website, you go to our website, you go to resources, you go to messages. Within 24 hours, this message will be there. You can go back and listen to it again and take the notes. Don't forget that. And in closing for today, remember this one, write it down. Let the fruit of who you are speak for itself. Let the fruit. There's nothing more you can do to help mentor young people to embrace new ideas, to gain their respect, than let your results, your character, watch this, and your peace. Your results, your character, and your peace operate in your life will make room for your voice. Let me say that again. Your results, your character, and your peace. See, if you're at work with these younger people talking about how bad your marriage is, how terrible everything is, how hard everything is, you're complaining about leadership. You don't have character. You don't have results. You're not showing. Your voice isn't really going to mean anything. You want to have a voice, but everybody knows what you are. You're a phony. I saw something yesterday that on Facebook when my wife and I were leaving that blew me away. It blew me away. I literally saw somebody yesterday literally put a bald-faced lie about themselves. I mean, people, I'm telling you, man, people have a real weird perception of themselves. Operate in character. Let your results, let your fruit speak for you and walk in peace. Operate in character. Let your results speak for you and walk in peace. Matthew 7:6 says, you will know them by their fruit. I said this yesterday in yesterday's sermon. Jesus isn't coming back for excuses. He's coming back for fruit. We want to go do everything. We want to start businesses. We want to do this. But we've not even been faithful in cleaning the church. We've not even been faithful in being an usher. We've not even been faithful in serving the kids. But yet we want to go do all these things. I don't understand it. I think a lot of people, need attention. Stop pushing for attention, especially at work. Demonstrate impact and let God elevate you. Demonstrate impact and let God elevate you. Final thought, influence, write this down, is sustained not by age, but by fruit. The influence you're going to have is not sustained by your age. It's not sustained by how much you know, but it's influenced by the fruit that you have. This is for a lot of Christians, man, this is a bad word, fruit. Why? Because they don't have no fruit in their life. And they won't slow down and take one thing for a 2 or 3 year period and work on it and come. But I'm 50 years old, Pastor. Who cares? Do you want to be where you're at right now when you're 60, when you're 70? Take 2 or 3 years. Conquer 4 or 5 things from 50 to 60. Don't try to conquer the world and don't keep going over and over. That's why these people intimidate you. These young people, and you always feel like you got to prove something. Again, listen, it's not about proving things, it's about fruit, right? So when young people come in, when people with fresh ideas, again, it doesn't have to be an age thing when I say young. People that haven't been in your industry as long as you have, that's what I'm talking about. You've been around for 10 years. You've been around for 15 years. Don't be intimidated. Listen, be respectful. Allow your fruit, allow your character to have them respect your opinions, ideas. And always remember, listen, God gave you 2 of these. My wife always says mine are big. God gave me 2 big ears, so I listen a lot. And allow your listening to let them know that you respect them. Amen? Listen, I love you. I hope this helped out. It was a little bit of a different topic. I love it. Thank you for joining this morning, and we will see you on Wednesday. My wife and I on Wednesday. Until then, Pastor Nick saying, enjoy life.